in the last couple of years, I've just realized that fundamentally, the love that you have to nurture is the love for self. Fundamentally, that's like the first thing in life. So if you nurture the love for self, that kind of like, it gives room for the romantic relationships to thrive. So love for self to me means safety, means home, the things that I love, saying love again is a bit repetitive, but it means the things that spark joy for me. Love for self means knowing when to say no, knowing when to recoil so I can recharge my battery before I can come back into the world. Love for self means quality time with the people that I care about and making sure that they're aware of how I feel about them. And yeah, I think that pretty much just sums it up. Like the things that I enjoy, knowing when to say no, just caring for myself in my entirety. For me personally, because I think that love is very relative and it means different things to different people. I think that I have come to realize that love from a romantic partner is or feels like, I said home earlier, but like home. A love that allows me to be myself. A love that doesn't like force you to be something else. A love that allows me to be my most authentic self. I think that's what it is. That's the perfect way to put it. So if you're giving me that, if you're making me feel at home, like, okay, I can be myself, I think I truly feel loved. It makes me feel seen. In the last couple of years, I've unlearned a lot of ways that I used to romanticize love. So now it really just means allowing me, a love that allows me to feel very safe and be my most authentic self without having to conform because of any other reason. I think one of my happiest places in the world is actually two things. When I'm watching the sunset and when I'm by the water, when I'm at the beach. There's something about salt water, honestly. Like, if you've ever gone to the beach to clear your mind, I feel like every single time that I feel overwhelmed, the beach is like my favorite place to go to. And I read about it, and then I think it just registered in my head that yes, really, there's something about salt water. Something about salt water makes you feel very like, all my problems are just like problems and they don't really matter right here. So if I were to describe love, I think it feels like salt water. It just feels very easy breezy and like just, I would say a moment that's, redefined love for me. I think in my past relationships, I've always thought that love was like butterflies, it's like how they make you feel, them calling you, other like actual things. But I did have a really bad, tough, difficult breakup. And I think it really like changed. Okay, the breakup forced me to go on a journey to like finding myself. That's why I love self-love so much. So go on a journey to finding myself, and on that journey, I've realized that the way I used to think about love just isn't what it is for me. It's what I've described. It's supposed to just be love. Love is supposed to feel free, I think I'm a very free-spirited person, so I think going on the journey has made me just love myself more. And like I said, like fundamentally, self-love is the first things, foundation to every single thing in life. When you actually think about how much like God loved us, I think that's another thing. Loving someone has made me realize like this new type of love has made me just realize that the things that the Bible describes as love, like love is patience, love is kind, love is just love keeps no records of wrongdoing. I think that's, if you go to the Bible and like read all those things, it really just sums up how love is supposed to feel. And I think the moment I started thinking about my partner in that way, it made sense, like the word made sense. The first time I felt love, my first time would definitely be with my siblings. I come from a very close-knit family. I think everyone is very shocked at how close we are. But when I think about love in its purest form, it's just love from my siblings. I've just not known anything as beautiful and pure as it. And I remember this one time I was going through a breakup. Like I've had plenty of breakups, but this one time I was going through a really difficult breakup, and I remember journaling that I can't believe that I let someone treat me a way that my siblings will not even treat me. So I think they really put love on a pedestal for me. So I would say, yeah, them. When my last relationship ended, the feeling I felt the most was not feeling enough. Feeling like, oh, you had to change something, or something that you're not doing was just not right for them. And when I started to fall in love, is it even falling in love? Yeah, but when I started to feel something for someone, I realized that it was in moments where he affirmed that I was enough in like little ways, like say, I know you're very quirky, it's just who you are, right? It's like, and I love it. It's like, I don't know how to explain it to you. Like, it's very, I don't really know how to explain it. It's a very practical love. It's not like I said earlier about thinking that love used to be like, feel like butterflies. I think it's what I was saying about the Bible. Like, love is kind, love is patient. I feel like every time I feel like, oh, he's kind. Not even just with me, but most especially like with other people. I really like that. Like, I feel like, wow. Like, I feel very like very warm, very like dreamy, just every time he just like says, oh, you're so silly. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. I just talks about my personality. It makes me feel very good, when he's kind to other people. He's very generous. Yeah, I just love it. Like, I just love it. I don't think there was like a moment where I'm like, oh my God, I'm in love, but I think also I've just realized that romantic love for me is someone who has a kind heart, someone who has a very strong like family value, someone who is very secure in themselves, very hardworking. So all these things, anytime I just feel like ding, like I'm like, oh. But the crazy thing is, he doesn't even like say it. I don't know how to explain. Like, he's not very. We're talking about this the other day. Like, I'm more words of affirmation. Like, I know how to talk. I know how to just let the things flow. But he's more very action. Even if he's saying it, he doesn't mean. I don't really know how to explain it. It's not as conventionally sweet as you assume it to be. It's just nice. So it's long distance, and he doesn't live here. And someone was coming into town, and he gave them an envelope. And when my friend got in and she gave it to me, I was like, what's this? Then I opened it and it's a picture of us, right? And I don't know how to explain it. I was so shocked, honestly. And it's a picture of us that we had just taken like a few weeks back. And I flip it and he had written like the sweetest, or if my heart could write, or sweetest notes. And I think in the last line, he was just like, I don't like that we don't have any physical photos together. And I don't know, it was just sweet. I thought it was I felt very loved, to can't lie. I felt like that was the first time, not the first time, but that was just like, this is nice. I feel like I'm blushing. Something as little as you've had a really bad day and when we're talking, you rant or whatever, but you're still very concerned about how my day was. It's just like in the little things, like in the little moments, or telling me you're going to call me back, like you call me back. That just makes me feel like you're thinking about me. So it makes me feel very loved. I think the older, it's not about age, it's just in this journey that I've been on, I've realized that it doesn't really require a lot. You just have to be taking that safety button, like just like that nest. Once home feels very warm, I feel loved. Like just anything that makes me feel warm. Like, have you eaten today? Type thing, or let's go to dinner. Just something like that. Just in the little things. We're just talking behind the scenes about like acne. I'm a acne prone skin girly, and the last I think since I launched my brand, so like 6 months ago, I've just maybe stress, hormones, I don't know, but my skin has just been going through it. Like, I've just been going through it, and I think in the last couple of weeks, what I've really held on to is affirmations. Like, I literally look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, you're so beautiful, angel, with like the acne scars and everything, and it doesn't define who you are. You're doing what you can. Like, don't fuss about it. Some days I'm very sad. Because I have like a whole skincare folder. I'm like, my skin wasn't bad here. What was I using? So yeah, affirmations have really helped me just stay grounded. I think that's really how I just show love to myself, to my family or my friends. I think that I like to show up. I try to show up as much as I can. I like to be the one that, obviously in moderation and setting boundaries, obviously, but I like to be the one that you can talk to. Like, you call me and you know that I will listen to you and just give you, like, make you feel comforted. Is that the word? For showing up, being there for them. I think as across boards too. Yeah. Oh, I like to cook for my loved ones. I host this thing, girls' night in my house. So I cook for my friends, just girls, like 15 of us to come. It's usually very beautiful, emotional. We do like a gratitude hour. It's a lot of tears. So it's just beautiful. So yeah, I think that's how I show love. I like to just host my friends. I think I always try to lead with kindness. That's how I was brought up. My dad is a very kind man. So I generally would come from a place of kindness and empathy, even with people that I just meet. I like to think, Shaq, I'm a very warm person. So I think once you're leading with kindness and empathy, you kind of like can listen to the person and treat them how they would like. That's really a lot of practice, obviously. But yeah, I think kindness is just always my number one value in how I show love and care for anyone. I don't have to have known you for that long, but I think I always love to lead with a kind heart. For this one, I'm going to speak about my best friend. And I think how we're so weird. I've known her for at least 15 years, I think. And we don't have fights, but I think in the last 2 years, we've had like 3 significant conversations that we just end up crying. I know it's actually like, we're like, oh, I don't like that you did this. You made me feel very sad. And it's very cute. I can't even explain well. I think when we have those conversations and we're both like vulnerable and open with each other, it makes me understand her more, and it improves the way that I show love to her and in turn to other people, because with her I've realized that people just show emotions differently, and with friendships, romantic relationships, family, like it's not one book, one rule fits all. You kind of like have to love everyone differently, you know? Like take for example, I just learned, and this is one I've known for 15 years, that she would love for me to, when she's going through something, when she's told me something, she would love for me to check in more. And me in my head, I'm just like, I'm your best friend. Like, I'll always be here for you. If you're sad, I should be the first person that you call, you know? I thought that was a very good conversation, because for the first time, I'm like, wow, okay, this is a way that I can actually be a better friend and love on you more, by listening to you and hearing what you're saying. Like, if you tell me something, it would feel very nice, Angel, if you checked in, the next day to see you, how are you feeling, or do you want to talk, as opposed to just waiting for me to call you. So I think that really helps me love her better. But in general, I think just listening to what people, checking in with people that you care about and listening to the feedback that they might possibly have for you, really, or for me in this case, really helps me love on them better. I don't really know how to have difficult conversations. Like, I don't know. But like I said, with the analogy of my best friend, I think it's very important to check in with the people that you care about. Just like, I think one thing that I'm very good at is checking in with myself. I've become, in the last couple months, last almost 2 years, I've become more self-aware than I've ever been in my entire life. So I randomly find myself asking myself questions like, why? Like, I always want to know my why. Okay, why do you want to go here? Why are you saying yes to this thing? Will this fill you up? Like, things like that. What do I need right now? What will spark joy right now? I'm always asking myself questions, and it's almost, I preach about journaling a lot. I don't journal as often anymore, but I think that we put a lot of pressure around things like journaling, like, oh, you have to do it every day. Yes, only when you start out, right, you can, so you just get into the habit. But I think it's a very important tool to just have. So when you're introspecting, it just comes to you. Always to say that, because I know I'm very good at journaling my thoughts, I think it just translates. Like, I know when to just ask myself questions and fix up. So if I can put that same energy into the people that I care about and ask them, how have I offended you? How can I be a better friend? How can I be a better sister? Are we okay? What boundaries do we need to put in place in our relationship? I think the world will be a better place. I think my relationships will definitely be a better place. So yeah, that's something I'm still honestly working on, just asking people for constructive criticism or feedback, but only people that you care about. It's not everyone that you go around asking those. I think another thing that I often think that people are very disposable, whatever the word is. Oh, once I have my siblings, I'm okay. So I'm learning to prioritize the friends that I truly care about and make an effort. So I think I definitely need to do more of that, like checking with them and see how I can be better. I think it will help. The greatest love of all time is the love that God has for us. Second one is the love for self. That's who you're going to spend the rest of your life with. Yourself. Like, romantic relationship cannot come before the love for yourself. So that's my answer. One thing that's become more apparent for me is I'm someone who needs her alone time, right? So there are some times where I physically cannot move, I cannot get out of bed, I cannot do anything, and I have my friends calling. I just wouldn't pick up. I don't know how to explain it to you. Like, I think I've learned how to just put myself first. For someone who gives a lot, I also know how to be taking a lot of work and practice. But so when I'm back to society, when I'm back to a point where I can give, I'm gonna call and be like, hi, I'm so sorry, I've been out of it, are you okay? Or sometimes even when I'm down, I can leave a message and be like, are you okay, do you need anything? I'm so sorry, I can't talk to you right now. And I think that if you love me and you know me, you let me be, So I think that's how I find the right balance. I'm a I give, but I also know when to recoil and recharge. So I'm very aware of it. I think in the past I wasn't, but once you start to learn and unlearn a lot of things, things just become clearer to you and you're able to navigate and know that at this point in time, take for example, a couple of weeks ago, I felt like, oh, I needed my friends, I needed my girls, I needed to do girls' night because I heard I hadn't done one since February. I've only had one this year. A lot of people have been messaging me that, Angel, we need that. Everyone is going through it. Let's just come and unpack. Right. So this weekend, I'm like, okay, I want to do it this weekend because I don't know how my next couple of weekends would look. But the weekend is approaching and I'm just like, I physically cannot move. I'm not in a position to give myself to people and host. So yeah, my friends were calling me. I used to doing girls' night. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. And as God will have it, the next weekend, I felt like I could be around people. And I was just like, guys, okay, we're doing this tomorrow. Come through, this. And it was just beautiful. So I think maybe in the past, I wouldn't have realized that, oh, Angel, you can't do this. And I'll push myself. And then the party would, like, it's not a party way, but gathering would just be some way. But that weekend, I had a premiere. I had things to do, but I really didn't leave my house for almost a week because I was just like, I felt like if I left the house, I would cry. Like I was just afraid to leave. And I just took the time off I watched Korean drama. I ordered some food. I think that weekend I had pizza and ice cream. I was just doing the things that will spark joy. And then the next weekend I was able to, have people over and be an angel. So I think I just found a way to take time for myself when I need it. I'm very passionate about sharing. I like to connect with people. I like to have conversations. I believe in the power of sharing. Like there's so much. But to allow yourself to share, most times you have to be vulnerable. And to be vulnerable, it takes a whole lot. Like you have to feel safe, which brings me back to that understanding of self. I think that sometimes you can understand yourself and still read people wrong. But I think if your intentions are pure sometimes, right, the other person too would feed off that intention. If you're secure in yourself and you meet someone and you click and you feel like you can trust them, you're not sharing with them expecting, how do I explain it? You're not sharing with them expecting something, right? You're sharing because you want to. And that way, the person, you can't, I wouldn't share something that I know that if it came out, I would feel some way about, right? Let's just have an honest conversation. So it's very difficult, but I think for me, let me just use myself. I think that I just gotten to a point where it's like, I need to share and be vulnerable for myself and not for you. Not for what I expect you to say to me, but because I need this for myself. So I think you have to trust the person. Trust is earned, right? So the person has to earn your trust. And once you trust them and you feel comfortable enough, then you can share and be vulnerable. What I've learned from past relationships about what you need and what you want to love is, what you need is self-love first and foremost. I think that you just need to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you settle for anything. You will know your values. I think values are very important in relationships. A lot of people go into relationships and not know what they value, what's important to them. And I think that's why most of us just kind of like continue winging it. So finding yourself, if I ever had kids, if I had a daughter or anyone who's younger, who's looking to date, I think the first thing I would say is just find yourself, and the thing about the journey, it's an endless journey. I don't think anyone ever gets to the point where they're like, yes, I finally know myself. You keep learning and unlearning, but I think it's better than just not knowing. Do you know how beautiful it is to love yourself and just know the things that you like? It just gives you like some sort of confidence. Like if you go on a date, for example, the first time you're meeting someone, you already know your values. And the thing about values is I think most people attribute it sometimes to physicalities, right? It's like, how they look, how they talk, it still goes. But imagine you're in a date and you already know your values, and this person, take me for example. One of my core values for a romantic relationship is strong family values, right? That means that I need to feel like you're a family person. It's not even just being a family person, like you value like family. And I go on a date with somebody and the person is just, they're my sister. Or the person is just like talking bad about their family. I am going to walk away. Like there's no other way that you want to attract me or get me to stay if I know that you're speaking ill about your mother or your family, because it won't work. It just wouldn't work, because that kind of person will not understand the love that I share with my family, right? So, but you wouldn't know that if you haven't like gone on that journey to finding yourself. Recently, my favorite sentence has been, I love growing up. I think it's all the little things that you start to realize about yourself. About if we're using love, for example, about the fact that love is not just butterflies. I used to have this friend who had a specific type of man she wanted to be. He must have hair. That was always her thing. I wonder how she's doing now. Because I think the older you get, you start to realize that it's not about the things that we used to think about. At least for me. Love has just changed for me. Like I said, it's literally the simple things. It's a love that allows me to be me. I think before, in the past, I wanted a relationship where tell me sweet nothings, tell me I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. Tell me that you can't live without me. Like, I didn't understand why you meet a man and they're not falling in love with you in the first month. But right now, I'm realizing that anything that I want from somebody, I have to give to myself first. If you want to go out and you want a man that takes you out on dates, at least if you can afford it, take yourself out on dates. I've done a lot of solo dates. I love eating by myself. I love doing things on my own. I take myself to pretty nice places, so I'm not waiting for a man to come and take me to dinner at my favorite restaurant, because I can walk in, on my own and feel really good. So I think my definition of love has definitely changed over the years, but now is deeply rooted in love for myself, and then finding someone who further like complements it, as opposed to someone who is coming to feel something. Like, I'm already good as a whole. Like, I'm a fantastic human being. I don't need someone to come and try to make me better, which is something that I think I used to think of in the past. Like, I want this person to teach me how to be this. No, I'm good on my own. So love has definitely changed for me in terms of I just want someone to come and just complement, what's already there, and not, I'm okay, because who I am as myself right now is enough. So there are things that obviously I need to work on for myself, not because of anybody else. So I think dating yourself, finding yourself is very key. It helps build your self-confidence, self-worth. Wow. How haven't I said that? Once you know your self-worth, it really just helps you sieve out like the dirt, We all still have, even if you know your self-worth, you can still have insecurities and everything. But knowing your self-worth would like just help you navigate certain situations. I just know that this one is not for you. I'm not even going to stress myself there. So in whatever way that you can, just try to love yourself. Know the things that you love, the things that you like, the things that you value, the things that you won't stand for, so that when someone comes along and you can see those signs, it's easy for you to walk away before it's too late, So, yeah.